before there was a United States, before the Founding Fathers, before the Constitution, before 1776. This vast land was home to ancient civilizations, sacred traditions, and stories long forgotten. Today, the United States of America stands as one of the most powerful and influential nations on Earth. But to understand its present, we must journey through its entire past. This is the entire history of the United States, from ancient beginnings to global superpower. Long before Europeans set foot on this continent, the land we now call the United States was teeming with life, both natural and human. Around 15,000 years ago, ancient peoples crossed the Bering Land Bridge from Asia into North America. These early hunter-gatherers evolved into diverse indigenous nations, each with its own culture, language, and way of life. From the cliff dwellings of the ancestral Pueblones in the southwest, to the mound cities of Cahokia near the Mississippi River, to the Iroquois Confederacy in the northeast, this was a rich and complex world with laws, trade, and diplomacy long before the arrival of Europe. In 1492, Christopher Columbus's voyage set off a wave of European exploration. Spain claimed Florida and the Southwest, establishing missions and forts. France moved down the Mississippi, setting up for trade networks. But it was England's colony at Jamestown, Virginia in 1607 that would begin the foundation of what would become the United States. 13 British colonies took root along the Atlantic coast. Some came seeking religious freedom, like the Puritans in Massachusetts. Others came for wealth, opportunity, or land. But this era also saw the dark beginning of slavery in America, with enslaved Africans brought to labor on southern plantations. By the 18th century, these colonies grew prosperous, but tension with Britain mounted. No taxation without representation. That was the cry that sparked rebellion. In 1775, the American Revolution began. Led by figures like George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and Benjamin Franklin, the colonies fought for, and won, independence from Britain. On July 4, 1776, the Declaration of Independence was signed. In 1787, the U.S. Constitution established a new government, a bold experiment in democracy. The 19th century was an era of explosive growth. The U.S. expanded westward through purchase, treaty, and war. But this growth came at a terrible cost: the forced removal of Native Americans, including the deadly Trail of Tears, the rise of slavery in the South, and growing tensions between North and South. The nation was on a collision course with itself. In 1861, the Civil War erupted, a brutal conflict over slavery and states' rights. Brother fought brother. Over 600,000 lives were lost. Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation marked a turning point. In 1865, the Union was preserved and slavery abolished. But Reconstruction, the effort to rebuild the South and grant rights to freed slaves, was short-lived and met with fierce resistance. The United States transformed from a rural republic into an industrial giant. Steel, oil, and railroads fueled the Gilded Age. Millions of immigrants arrived from Europe, chasing the American dream. But poverty, inequality, and labor unrest spread. So did political corruption. Cities grew. The U.S. was becoming a global power, and the world was watching. Though late to enter World War I, the U.S. emerged as a dominant global force. At home, the 1920s roared with jazz, consumerism, and social change. Women won the right to vote. Prohibition began. But underneath the surface, trouble was brewing. In 1929, the stock market crashed. The Great Depression devastated the economy. Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal aimed to revive it with massive reforms. Then, in 1941, Pearl Harbor was attacked. America entered World War II. From Normandy to the Pacific, U.S. troops fought to defeat fascism. The war ended with victory and the dawn of the atomic age. The Cold War began, a nuclear standoff between the U.S. and Soviet Union. Meanwhile, at home, a different battle was waged. The civil rights movement, led by heroes like Martin Luther King Jr., challenged centuries of racial injustice. The U.S. landed on the moon in 1969, but also faced the trauma of the Vietnam War, political scandal, and social unrest. Still, the nation endured, and in 1991, the Cold War ended. America stood alone as the world's lone superpower. The 21st century brought triumph and tragedy. The September 11th attacks changed the world. Wars in Afghanistan and Iraq followed. The rise of the internet and smartphones reshaped daily life. In 2008, America elected its first black president, Barack Obama, but deep divisions, political, racial, and economic, continued to grow. The COVID-19 pandemic tested the nation like never before, yet America endured and evolved. As of 2025, the United States is home to over 347 million people. It remains the world's third most populous nation, covering over 9 million square kilometers. It is a country of contradictions, wealth and inequality, freedom and division, innovation and complexity. But it is also a land of reinvention, of bold ideas, of voices demanding a better future. Its history is not just in the past, it's still being written by us all. This is the story of the United States, not just a country, but an idea, ever tested, never finished, and always becoming. Thank you for listening. See you to next episode.